Hello, how are you doing? And thank you for joining. Welcome. Who is here? Thank you so much. And if you are watching on replay, I hope you enjoy. Thank you, Karen. Karen is here. Juan, oh my, I see you, Juan. Being Nessing, I see you. Welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hiya. All right, so this evening, Juan, yay. All right, so this evening, I'm continuing on our retrospective through American culture, and this is episode 30. So this star date 1994, and it's titled Bronco Chases, Dial Up Screams, and Cultural Dreams. Okay, a long title this evening, okay? So let's get into the imagery. Let's unwind this cultural retrospective in, I also call it a root cause analysis to figure out how did we get to the place in culture where we are today. It's very easy to see now, and it's also easy to see how we can go forward and not stay in this state. Okay, so let's look at the first title slide and get some imagery going, warm everything up. Okay, so again, this is episode 30, 1994. As you can see, you can imagine a lot of the characters, and I say characters only because we talk a lot about simulations and world stage. That was credited to Shakespeare, which a lot of people think Shakespeare was a group of people, not one person. But it was a pen name, a pseudonym that a lot of writers would use, is what I heard. I don't know. These are the conspiracy theories, you know. So we have a stage full of characters, I would say, in 1994. Maybe more so than other years. I don't know. Sometimes I think the stage is full of certain types of people. Maybe they're more cult of personality. I don't know. Their role is unique, of course. So let's get into the year 1994. Let's go to the first slide. Let's see what's going on. If you have anything to add, if you want to correct me, you know, I say, please do, please do. Okay, so we're looking at some humble beginnings. In fact, I just love what the Bible says about humble beginnings. Do you? It says, do not, and correct me, I'm just going on memory, do not despise the day of small beginnings, right? Of humble beginnings. And I've always liked that scripture because a lot of people don't appreciate a humble beginning. They want to start off with a million subscriptions and followers and clicks and likes and views. They want to go straight into the meat and potatoes. They don't want to drink the milk. Right? You know what I'm saying? They don't want to crawl. They want to run a marathon. So I like this. I'm going to call Mark Bezos' Genesis story. Okay. I like a good Genesis story like this, don't you? And we have so many of them. And you know, when you hang out in business, you learn a lot about what people do to create an image, of course. A product has an image. It's a lot about branding. And I don't know if I believe that Bezos started out in a garage or what was it? Like everybody started in a garage. Like the garage bands, because we have the grunge music going on. So everybody's genesis is out of a garage. Doesn't that sound great? I'm just saying, who's here? I see some new people. IG Roller Disco 17. Welcome, Armana. Love you. Thank you for joining the chatmosphere. And oh my goodness. Oh, F FGA Apothecary. Welcome. I've missed you. Hello, hello. It's so nice to see familiar faces, names, and I know we change our names and whatever. I'll try to keep up. Just remind me if you've changed your name. Okay. So again, back to Bezos. I don't know if I believe that he started very humble like this because I've learned over the years in corporate America and just being involved in multi multi-level marketing and different things like this, you hear about people creating a genesis of sleeping in a car. I mean, we have a lot of actors that they've had a genesis story where they were sleeping on sofas, on floors, on in their cars, in hotels. It's always a story, and a lot of times it's not true. It just sounds good because we like a rags to riches story. So I don't know. Let me know. Do you believe that Bezos started out very humble? Or do you think he had a dad who gave, or a rich uncle, or somebody who gave him an infusion of cash? Or maybe, I don't know. It could be so many other conspiracy theories about his beginnings. Because who he is today, from this humble beginning in 1994, how do you amass the level of money that Bezos has amassed? He started out selling books, you all. Hello, Yvette. Welcome. This man started out selling books. He went from books to having a wedding in Italy, shutting down a whole town. I'm just saying, he's so rich. I wonder, but I still have my Amazon wish list, and okay, I play along with it all. I do. I'm not going to act like I'm living like an Amish person. Okay, so let's get to the next slide in the 1994 rewind of culture and what's going on here. So we've seen now in this time travel, we've gone back to look at Bezos and now to think about him now. Okay, so now we are up to this imagery here. And I know a lot of you remember the OJ trial, which they called the trial of the century. And it was televised. It was everything, everywhere, everybody talking about it. It was so sensationalized, and it started a lot of, I noticed, and I brought this up before, it started a lot of racial division, I noticed, in corporate America. When the verdict was read and people started to take sides, I noticed a change in my corporate friends. You know, they started getting a little distant and cold. So I had to think about it, and I knew right away, oh, it's the OJ verdict. And I was neutral on the OJ thing. I watched the trial as much as I could. I was listening to all the think pieces and watching CNN back then. I was watching CNN nonstop. But I wasn't sure. I don't know about you. I wasn't sure. I could lean either way. We didn't have the internet like we have now, but I really wasn't sure about his guilt or innocence. I knew he was a clown, that's for sure, with the gloves and the whole performative and just everything about this trial. When you think about it, his dream team, it was so made for television. And were we watching a reality show? I don't know, because they have the most crazy conspiracies, right? There were conspiracies shared around that time. But there's even one that I want to bring up. I want to ask you, do you know this conspiracy? Okay, there was a conspiracy going around that Nicole Brown Simpson was not dead, but she, like, people switch out in central casting roles that they play on the world stage. A lot of people say they think that she is Megan Kelly. Megan Kelly. I love Megan Kelly, by the way. I really do. I love her. But that was I mean, she does favor Nicole Brown Simpson, but I don't think the math would math. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's a crazy conspiracy theory, but they're both, I mean, very similar, phenotype, beautiful women. But I don't know if there was a movie about her. Megan Kelly could sure play her. Yeah. So you said inbred grooming. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? All right. So back to the OJ trial. We get celebrity reality stars such as the Kardashians come out of this trial. And a lot of our news reporters, they started to parlay into news reporting jobs and things like that. So they were able to use this as leverage to level up in different ways. But there was also a lot of strange deaths, I would say. A lot of the lawyers from the Dream Team, I think they died prematurely. Kim Kardashian's father, I think that was a little premature. Also, I think Johnny Cochran. I've heard lots of conspiracy theories about him, but Johnny Cochran was very talented in the law. He was very eloquent in his speech and very effective. He was known to be a good defense attorney. So he even defended Diddy. If you remember, and he got Diddy off, as that was what I remembered. And then it just seemed like he was dead, shortly after all of that. I don't know. But they say he had brain cancer, and I don't know. I heard people say, a lot of those high-powered men that were always on the cell phone, back then, that maybe the radiation was a lot stronger and they had these phones up to their heads a lot, because there were a few high-ranking men that had brain cancers, brain tumors, and things like that. So I don't know. I could go on and on about this, but I don't know where you fall on the OJ spectrum of reality. Now that OJ has gone to the upper room, it's a strange timeline that we're on, because we have so many people that have been on the world stage, celebrity, and people like OJ. He was a positive celebrity, and then he became notorious, infamous, but a lot of these people are gone, and it just shows you how life is but a vapor. It's you really get to see it, how the stage is set with a new scene, different actors. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about the OJ thing, other than the trial also brought up some products. Remember, like branding. You have the Bruno Magli shoes, Bruno Magli, or whatever Italian shoes that OJ wore. And he tried to say, I guess he didn't have them on, but they clocked him with a picture in the shoes, and it was crazy. So we have the Bruno Magli shoes, we have the Ford Bronco. I don't know about anybody who owned a Ford Bronco at that time, especially if you had a white Ford Bronco. It probably felt a little weird, uh, cringe, as the young people would say. Yeah, so that trial was, I think it was very damaging to our American culture, very damaging. We probably haven't even reckoned with how much damage this stuff was for our culture. So let's go to the next slide. Welcome, Beth. Hello. And Aurora. Aurora, welcome. Central Cali. I hope it's nice out there for you. Like I was saying, okay, look at this. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of the Ford Broncos on the road lately, and I really like it, I have to say. I'm not into vehicles and stuff. I don't know. I'm just not. But I really like certain vehicles. I tend to like the older, like classic cars, but this new imagined, reimagined Ford Bronco is very nice. And seeing it on the road, I didn't know what it was initially, but to learn that it was a Ford Bronco, I have to say they did a good job rebranding. It was a classic, and OJ may have, had an effect on their sales. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking. But anyway, look at that. Tell me, do you like a Ford Bronco? Do you like the new body and the style and everything? So let's look at the next slide. A Bronco, horsepower. All right, so I've called these two the Sprinkle Sprinkle twins. You probably know about the Sprinkle Sprinkle lady who's real popular on social media in terms of saying how to level up your life and meet a billionaire, right? And marry well. But I don't know. These two became in the 90s, they were reality. I guess you could say Kato Kalin. Remember that name, Kato Kalin? He became a celebrity from the OJ trial. He was the most famous house guest, remember? And he heard some things during the supposed time of the murders, and he heard some, I heard and saw whatever, but when he was on the stand, it was quite chaotic, I would say, and it became comedic. So it's that aspect of a Greek comedy and tragedy. So you say, Beth, yeah, the Bronco is pretty cool looking. Oh, you do like it, yeah? This new Bronco is damn sexy. Oh, so you do like it. I think they did a good job with that. So back to the Sprinkle Sprinkle twins, what I'm calling them. We have okay, so Kato Kalin, I don't know what he's up to these days, but after the OJ trial, his star really started to ascend, I'll say. And we have Nicole, what is her name? Hold it. I'm sorry. This is what is this lady's name? I don't know. I just blanked out of this lady's name. What is her? It's not Nicole Brown. It's so many people. Anna, she's a Nicole. I knew it was a Nicole. So she's Anna Nicole Smith. Okay, that's not her real birth name, but that was her show name. She had like a country name, a good country girl type of name. She came from, not sure if it was Louisiana, Alabama, somewhere in the South. But you talk about a transformation. You may have heard her Genesis story. I think her Genesis story is probably true. She came from poverty and abuse, I think, in the background, and she just wanted to escape all of that trauma, and it made her desperate, which is unfortunate. So her beauty was enhanced, and she was on the Marilyn Monroe sex kitten programming. I think we could all agree. and she did the Marilyn Monroe probably better than anybody next to Marilyn Monroe. She almost outdid Marilyn Monroe at her own aesthetic, I would say. Beautiful woman, and she went through a traumatic life arc and died tragically, but she did marry a billionaire, and it was pretty obvious that she was marrying him for the money. So she was brazen about being a gold digger. But it's a very disturbing story with her. She has a daughter that she left behind. Her son died. Real tragic stuff, strange things. And she had lots of parasites around her. And so she has a daughter that is very beautiful also, and you can only hope that she is being protected from all of the wolves, because I think she stood to inherit the billions, maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, her father has taken her and raised her and hopefully protected her. But this is, a story that it's a rinse and repeat type of a story. She got caught up with Hollywood, and she got used, abused, and she had a reality show which was like a crime scene, right? She was drugged out of her mind, and it looked like she was in a CIA mind control monarch whatever program. It was crazy. So, yeah, she destroyed herself ultimately. Yeah, the Guess jeans. Yeah, that. I mean, her aesthetically, she was so close to the Marilyn Monroe. It was unbelievable, right? She embodied her. She may have even, I don't know, like spiritually, these people do some really weird things. But maybe that's why she couldn't handle things mentally. Yeah. Next slide, let's see. So Kato, Kalin, and so this was a bizarre headline. There was an art thief that stole the scream. This picture, it looks so silly to me. I'm sorry for the art people, but this is the type of art that I find it's hard for me to take it seriously, because it looks like a child did it, and that's fine. I love art that's done from children, but we are gaslit and told that this is like high art and it's worth billions of dollars, and it's really weird, the art world. But a lot of us have learned that the art world is really a a front for a lot of different crimes. So I guess they're laughing at us because they do this kind of art and call it the scream. And I guess you could go to a museum or gallery and talk about this. And you know it reminds me of that Saturday Night Live. Remember when Eddie Murphy Eddie Murphy would come and he would show up at the art gallery, and these really pretentious people. Remember that, you guys? I used to love all that, but it reminds me of that skit. And he's cussing these pretentious people out, and they're just loving it. They love all the abuse. But oh my God, maybe I'll try to grab that clip. That's a funny clip. I haven't seen that in years. But yeah, so the scream was stolen. Can you imagine? It's like a cartoon. Somebody put a ladder up to a window, which, don't you love the Tartarianness of this building, of course? Put a ladder up and went in like a cat burglar. I'm sure the cats don't appreciate being called a cat burglar. Everything is blamed on cats, right? But they stole this picture. So it was in Oslo, that it was stolen? The Norwegian painter Edvard Munch. His last name is Munch. So this was a pastel version of the Scream from 1893. So there are the 1800s again popping up, but it was returned back to the museum shortly after. I don't think it was gone very long. I don't know what they were going to do with this, but it's just, I don't know. Do you find this to be very inspiring, this kind of art, the Scream? But it is definitely something that a lot of people recognize when they see it. What is it really? Okay, let's go on. All right, before I scream. Okay, next slide. Or you scream. Oh, that was her name, Yvette? Anna Nicole Smith's real name was Vicki Lynn Hogan. Yes, Vicki Lynn. All right, so in 1994, Newt Gingrich drafted this, proposal, the contract with America. And this was to get back a lot of seats. They were going to, get back the House or whatever, and make it majority Republican, I guess. But this contract with America, they said, was successful. From everything, I didn't really know a lot about. I wasn't paying attention a lot back then, but from what I heard, they were able to do almost everything in this proposal contract, rather, with America, and everything passed. It wasn't a lot of contention, from what it also seemed. So that was interesting to me, that you can have something like that be successful and go through without a lot of drama. So I don't know. Contract with America. How does it sound to you? I don't know. But it says promises made, promises kept. So Newt Gingrich. I don't know how I feel about him. I don't know. But let's see. Next slide. So these contracts, I don't know how I feel. Contract with America. So, oh, can you go to the one before this? Right here. Yeah. So at the time of this NAFTA treaty going live, where Clinton was going to headline a lot of this, moving our industry, manufacturing power overseas, but I know NAFTA involved North American, but we were also seeing our jobs go over to India and different places. The deindustrialization of America and turning it into a rust belt. This is very, when I look at it now, and I was reading a little bit about deindustrialization, it's tied. Now, listen to this, everyone. This is tied to healthcare ultimately. And I thought that was strange. Like, what do you mean healthcare? Well, think about this. When they move industry out of a town or city, it immediately affects the healthcare of the community. It's like an instant thing. It creates food deserts. A lot of the young people, they have brain drain. So the young people escape and go to places where they have more opportunity. So you have an older population. You have a population that now their standard of living has decreased. And just everything starts to devolve. And this is done on, this is a design, it's done by design. The deindustrialization, it's been done all over the realm. In Europe, it's been done in a lot of places. And the cities that they really they hit hard would be cities like Detroit, Gary, Indiana, where I was born, Pittsburgh, and also Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I could go on and on. You probably have a lot of places that you could list also. But they call it the Rust Belt. So when they can affect healthcare ultimately, that's a form of taking control because you give away your sovereignty with your body, your health. And it is a real terrible, it's a Marxist process of taking, like, this is the destruction of the middle class. And we hear this all the time, but this is all done by design. So they've taken and stripped away the middle class. That's because they're both on the same team. They were just all playing their parts. Yeah, there you are, Beth. New Gangler, Gingrich. Yeah, taught history at the first college I went to. Really? Oh, West Georgia. I think I did hear about that. He wasn't there when I went there, though. I just heard about it. I did hear that he was doing that, teaching. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I figured that's you meant Newt. Yep. I get it. When I'm typing and it just puts whatever it wants in the thing, right? But yeah, so this is when I look at this now, and when I started to look into what is deindustrialization and it's linked to Marxism, and like I said, these people that are the social engineers, a lot of them are very cold when they talk about these issues. Oh, deindustrialization, or they have podcasts and they talk about this and they're very emotionally detached. They talk about these things like a robot, like an NPC without a soul. And you can listen, they sound very smart, and they ultimately want to see these cities become the 15-minute cities, right? Which they kind of were before in the industrial whatever era. But we still had strong community, and it was different now than it is now. But the 15-minute cities, I think, are very soulless. They sound good, but it's just more fake. So I don't know. I just everything could be seen as fake. Even the Industrial Revolution in America, and how we had these cities built up based on industry. And now we're post-industrialized nation. Now they are going towards more automation, and they're redefining what work is now. What is work? So we can get into that another time. So next slide, let's look into some more of this 1994 rewind. Thank you for joining again. So what else is going on? All right, if you can look at this picture, I know it pains a lot of you to look at the destruction of the old world. For some reason, a lot of us are old souls. We came here as old souls, we feel, and we have a resonance to the old world and the technology of the analog world. And when you see pictures like this of just the destruction of these old buildings, it hurts a part of me. This is in Philadelphia. And it's probably a Wawa in the place of it, right? They take the Tartarian cathedral down and they build a Wawa, right? I love Wawa. Listen, I love Wawa, but I don't want Wawa to be built over this old architecture, okay? All right. So anyway, lots of books and theories on the deindustrialization of America. But I just want to say that I believe all of this done on purpose, very engineered. You say that looks like the South Bronx in the 70s? Yeah, it probably does. Look, you had buildings probably taken down too. But a lot of the buildings still are standing in New York, I have to say. A lot of them are, which I do like. So let's look at the next slide. What else do we have going on? 1994. Oh boy. Well, this one is a painful. I remember how heart wrenching, if you could recall, Susan Smith, a monster, a mother that this would be, you could say, peak narcissism in terms of only looking at herself and what she wanted in terms of, I think she had a boyfriend that she was divorced from the baby's dad, or maybe not married to him, but she had a man that she was interested in, but he didn't like children. I think that's what I remember. He didn't want children. So she felt that she would get rid of her children. And she blamed it, which is horrible because we're having all of this racial tension brewing. Remember, we're just coming out of the Rodney King LA riots, and this woman blames it on a black man, which was so ludicrous. Even like white people that are racist, they even knew. They were like, please, lady, black men really want to take your child? You know, they had all the jokes. They're like, black men don't even take care of their own children. They're not going to want to take your children, honey. Two little white children, really? A black man is going to be able to take two white children and go places and not be stopped. Come on, lady. She didn't think that through. So she had nobody on her side. Remember? Nobody believed her. Even the KKK were like, yeah, please, Susan, try another one, okay? Right? So it was sad. She drove her kids into the, what, they were found in the lake or something. So yeah, she's still behind bars till this day. I saw a recent picture of her and she looks rather different. Not bad. She's not a bad looking woman. I don't know when she's going to get out. I don't know. I didn't want to look into the details. This was hard enough just recalling this incident because it was so, again, heart wrenching. We were all angry at this woman. I mean, just so angry. I don't care what race you were, your heart was hurt from this whole scene, this everything. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. All right. Okay. It was a lot of misbehaving going on in 1994, as you can see. Even with a graceful sport like ice figure skating. Are you kidding me? These women were out here like the Bloods and the Crips on ice. Like, what, America? This is what our culture has come down to. We have two ice skaters, little cute girls, petite, with ice skates and pretty. Everybody wanted to be an ice skater. These girls have reached the pinnacle of a sport that we all dream to be. We want to be in these cute little ice skating outfits, right? Didn't you want to be in an outfit like this? These girls, this is your job. You get to dress up. But no, it's not good enough. You have to go and act like you're in the mafia and break the kneecaps of your competitor. Ugly, ugly, ugly behavior. We got to see this in a lot of different instances. And I have to say that when I think about these type of situations that we've seen in culture, this mean girl culture. Like, I have a family of mean girls. I've come from a background of mean girls. So I've been around mean girls. And I recognize a lot of these little, like, it's ugly. It's ugly. Like, it's a lot of ugliness. And I don't like this stuff anymore. I hope I'm not going to say that anymore. We're going to move away from this type of competitiveness because it breeds this kind of ugliness. You know it does. You've been around girls like Tanya and Nancy, and they're highly competitive. They're just tunnel vision, very I would say shrewd, very calculating and designing, manipulative, fake, mean, arrogant, very egotistical. You have to be that way to even compete in these sports at this high level. So they're not nice people to be around. If you've ever been around these kind of people, you're instantly turned off. They're really not nice people. I would say not kind people. So what happens? Tanya Harding takes a freaking baton bat and goes to the knees of her competitor, Nancy Kerrigan. And you see Nancy, she hits the floor. I would too, pass out. It had to hurt. I don't know if you've ever had any knee pain, but imagine somebody taking a bat to your knees. Oh, okay. So yeah, ugliness. And look at Tanya. So she's the kind of person, she'll beat the person and now she's the victim. She's crying. And this is all because our culture creates these kind of people. That's what I'm saying. We are creating these monsters. It's not necessary that we have these kind of things. And it doesn't have to get so ugly. I think back in the 90s, we also had a competitive mother, like, the momagers, the stage moms. They get nasty. So they got the mom and daughter monster thing going on. And the mother is just as bad, of course. Very pushy and just wants her daughter to be the only one. So it was a teenage high school uh, cheerleader rival. I think in Texas. Do you remember they made a Lifetime movie about it, and they killed the rival, and it was all just premeditated, just crazy. I think the mom got involved. It was horrible. The mom and the daughter wanted this girl out of the picture. So we see this playing out. It's a story as old as time, is it not? We're seeing it even today in the Diddy documentary. When somebody doesn't like their competitor. So yeah, let's see the next slide. Yeah, so this stuff was crazy. I used to really like ice skating. Yeah, ice skater girls gone gangsters, right? So this was like I said Cold War set tripping. Like a couple of like gangbangers. But if you look at the imagery, look at the body language and the face of these two, and I looked at it and I could see it. You could see they were probably sharing some nasty back and forth with each other. I don't know. It looks like a lot of tension. These two don't like each other, but they have to practice in the same place. And I'm just saying, I can see it. And neither one of them looks like an angel to me. I know Nancy was the victim, but Nancy doesn't look like a victim in terms of, she doesn't look very innocent and kind, and she could be. I don't know. They both look kind of bratty to me. It just gives me bratty vibes. But I hope Nancy's doing okay, because that was horrible. I don't care if you're a brat, you still shouldn't have somebody take a bat to your knees. That doesn't make it right. Gosh. All right, so next. Yeah, they were set tripping. Next slide. So we had the Rwandan genocide, and this was a strange flashpoint, and I don't trust the narrative, but from the what they were saying is this was something brewing that we could have intervened earlier, but a lot of the international community didn't intervene in time, and then this happened. Tribal horrible war, extermination. They called it a genocide. Horrible. So I don't trust that these things are not engineered. I don't trust anything that we have been told. So every time I look back on these things, I'm wondering what's the real story here? What I know now is that region in Africa has had an economic boom, and it's now seen as the destination to be. So that's kind of strange that they would be able to do that so quickly. Yeah. I have a couple of friends from Philadelphia that did an amazing movie about Rwanda that's called Rwanda. If you ever wanted to look at a really good movie about this, I would say look at Rwanda. I'll talk about that again at another time. So let's look at the next slide. So this is the year that Aaliyah, I would say, was kind of introduced in it. She's starting to really get into the business. We're starting to become familiar with her as a rising star under the tutelage of R. Kelly, who at that time had Song of the Year Bump and Grind. And Aaliyah is singing Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. So we later find out that he marries this child, which she was a child, and he is in jail now. He's connected to so many people in the industry. And now that we're watching the industry have a reckoning, and he's already in jail, you got Diddy, you got people think Jay-Z is next. I don't know. Who do you think is next? But a lot of people are placing their bets that it's Jay-Z. And it's going now, that's going to be quite a roller coaster ride. Already the Diddy documentary is changing a lot of public opinion pretty quickly. So we're watching a drama unfold that it's going to be historical, what we're watching unfold. So the industry and the issue with uh, children in the industry in many ways, it has to stop. We can't go forward with this industry in the way that it operates. Children must be protected. We can't put up with the same stuff that we did before. Now that a lot of people are really waking up to it, I know that we're not going to tolerate a lot of this stuff going forward. So Aaliyah, unfortunately, had to meet a very early demise and very tragic. So, yeah, unfortunate, but she's going to have a very short run in the industry. Very, very short. So let's look at the next slide. And there's going to be some reckoning around her death, I know. So we have AOL. Do you remember AOL? America Online. When I think about this, America Online, they wanted America Online. So they were getting us to start looking at our phones and that sound. Let's see. How does it sound? Let's see. We're connecting, right? Oh no, this doesn't sound good. Did you ever hear this? Oh boy. I think we're connected. We had to go through all that. All right, so AOL, everyone. And you had to have all this software, right? You had the floppy disk, then you had the CD. AOL, though. Just think how quickly we have come through the progression of this online space, the internet, as we know it today. I don't know what version we are on right now. You said sounds like we were connecting to another world. It does. It did. That screeching noise very hard on the ears, right? But look at that Macintosh computer. Oh boy, all of it, the graphics. All right, so let's look at the next slide. So AOL launching 1994. Look at that, everyone, all coming together. And this was the year that we had the Rachel, they called it. Tell me how many of you had the Rachel. This was a haircut that became so iconic. And Jennifer Aniston, who was very popular from the show Friends. I watched Friends only because I had friends that loved it, but I didn't like it really. It was annoying, the show. I don't know. I don't know. But sometimes I did like it, but I forced myself to like it. You shouldn't do that. But these were the days when you wanted to be a part of your group at work or whatever, and if they're your cousins or whoever, so I would just take one for the team and just watch a show so that we could talk about it, the water cooler conversation. So it was a few shows that I didn't particularly like, but I did like Seinfeld. I did like that. So yeah, but I did force watch Friends, I will admit. So the Rachel haircut, at the time, I thought it was cute. It was a nice haircut. And yeah, everybody wanted it. They would just say, I want the Rachel. So let's look at the next slide. And I know there are some conspiracy theories about Jennifer Aniston, but I'm just going to give her a pass today based on us being both named Jennifer. Okay, so we have the call, the manager, which the Rachel, this is when it took a turn, the Rachel, I think. This is a working theory. I can't prove it, but I think that the Rachel took a sharp left turn and turned into the call the manager. And who embodied this more than Kate, right? Kate is from Philly, by the way. Remember Kate and Nate plus 8? What was it? Kate and her poor husband. Remember the poor guy? Horrible to watch her abuse that husband of hers. Remember? In my opinion, watching that show, I think she was hard to live with. She wasn't an easy one. but I think the husband was not treated well. I'm just going to say. So, who had this haircut? Not this one, the Rachel. Is anybody admitting to having the Rachel was pretty? I like the Rachel. I may have even done the Rachel to some degree. But you guys, Dr. Hawkwash, hey, how are you? Welcome. And Corinne, you're here. You love Seinfeld. Hello. Hello. And Dr. Hogwash said the early Karen hair. You guys are talking about the haircut you're calling it. They say this is the call the manager haircut. So, yeah, Mary Kate. Is that her name? Mary Kate +8? Wow. This haircut, if you see this haircut coming, you know that you better get your whole act together, okay? If you confront somebody like this with this haircut. So yeah, the 90s. How fun. All right, next slide. Oh, Frasier. I love Frasier. Dharma, welcome. You like Frasier? Oh, I love Frasier. Okay, so 1994, we have the blockbuster Forrest Gump. Now, we had no idea what we were going to inherit later on with this actor, Hanks. Oh my goodness, 2020, I learned things that I wish I never learned about Hanks. I had the unfortunate opportunity to drop by his Instagram page, and it was so creepy and cringe. And then we started learning everything about him in 2020. It all changed for me and how I look at him forever. But Forrest Gump was it was a good movie. A lot of people would have to admit, even though we know what we know about him now, he was a good actor. And this movie was it was just very entertaining. And he really did play this so well. So yeah, Forrest Gump was one of your favorite movies. And then you learned he was evil as F, right? Oh my goodness, what do we do with this now? Yeah, arg. Hanks is an evil mother. Yeah, it's like, ugh, I couldn't watch a Hanks movie anymore. I'm done. I can't do it. But I just want to say that the subject matter of this movie, I'm thinking about it from connecting dots. They were starting to have certain kinds of, I would say, issues like this. So Forrest Gump, would you say he was on the spectrum, as they say now, neurodivergent? If you'll learn from the young people, they talk about this a lot. We also had the movie come out just a few years earlier, the Rain Man. Remember Rain Man? Who he was just brilliant. And then we had Beautiful Mind. So we were starting to have the subject matter of neurodivergency being discussed, and being portrayed on the big film, the big screen, as they say. And this is something that I'm just looking at it from a pattern. It's interesting how they had these particular type of characters being played. So yeah, what Beth, you said I can barely watch any Hollywood now because I've learned too much. Yeah, about most of them. No more entertainment. Same with pro sports, all rigged. Yeah, it takes the fun out of it. We used to have fun when we were more blissfully ignorant of it. Oh, John, there you are. You switched back from Dr. Hogwash, so Karen will pass the blunt to the back of the class. All right, so I have to remember you are the other account. Okay. So let's look at the next slide. Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates, he said. I don't want to decode that now. So we also had, and now you can see what I'm saying. We go from Forrest Gump, And then we have this movie, Dumb and Dumber. And I'm not going to try to act like I'm so high, brow that I didn't go and see this movie. I did see Dumb and Dumber. I don't think I went to the movie theater, but I watched it on whatever service. Dumb and Dumber. So, what was happening to our culture where entertainment had become so cynical that we would have a movie like this where idiocy is on display for entertainment purposes? Like, what is going on, America? What is happening? Dumb and Dumber. And we didn't stop with just one of these movies. They had sequels. Dumb and Dumberer, Dumb and Dumber 2, Dumb and what this should really be studied. What happened? It was like they put a spell on our culture, but especially men. Men, I think, were attacked a lot because when you look at a lot of the movies and the culture, the men are always dumb and the women are smart and the children are even smarter. Remember how it goes? And it becomes tiresome because they do it too much. It's so obvious. But I think this has something to do with it. This Dumb and Dumber type of thing. Just celebrating being dumb. Oh my, and we wonder why our collective IQ has definitely dropped. Okay? If we don't watch it, it's going to be through the basement. Idiocracy. Okay, we got to fight it. We got to get back to being smart again. All right, so Dumb and Dumber. Boy. Next slide. So we have our appointment from Clinton. He was already starting to show his agenda, the progressive, very sneaky agenda. But one of his appointees for the Surgeon General was Dr. Joycelyn Elders. Do you remember her? Dr. Joycelyn Elders. At first, I thought it was a nice appointment. She was a pediatrician, and her background looked pretty good. She did a lot of things, I guess, philanthropy and whatever. But she had some progressive. I didn't realize, I wasn't paying attention at the time because I know they were warning us about her. But of course, they also had us celebrate that she's a black girl magic appointment, right? So we're caught up in that BS. But she was a weirdo, okay? And I'm just going to say it. She was a weirdo. And when you look into the other appointment that Clinton made with the Ruth Bader Ginsburg, very weird when you look into their backgrounds and how they have these progressive ideology stances towards children. It's very concerning. So with Joycelyn Elders, she had to resign because she made some comments that they had to check her. And she was talking about, because she believed in a progressive form of sex education for children and just really pushing this whole agenda. So she wanted to also, she was a universal health care I would say she's an activist, advocate, activist. So she had these groundbreaking success points where they said she nearly doubled childhood immunizations. So that right there is a big red flag. So she nearly doubled childhood immunizations. So you're looking at a woman who on paper sounds so good, but look at the wicked agenda that she is promoting, or she did promote. So doubling childhood immunizations. universal health care, science-based comprehensive sex education, and the exploration of drug legalization. So I know you guys aren't going to be mad at her for that one. But for the comprehensive science-based sex education in schools, weird. But she had to resign because she was under a lot of heat for talking about the promotion of masturbation in children. That might get me in trouble to say that on the video, but this is according to this person right here. I don't have that. I think it's terrible. Okay. In my opinion, I don't think children should be learning about sex education in school. I don't. I hope a lot of children, I hear the homeschooling is exploding. And I'm glad to hear it. I hope more parents get together and do homeschool groups and everything, because this is horrible. And you can see the descent into this agenda. It starts there, and then it has no, like, you know what I'm saying? It gets progressive. That's why they call themselves progressives. So a weird weirdo. Okay, so let's look at the next slide. And this was a Clinton appointee, remember? So we have the daughter, one of the daughters of Malcolm X was arrested on the suspicion of plotting to assassinate Farrakhan. So I did not know this. Did you all know this? In 1994, they picked up Malcolm X's daughter. Her name is, it begins with a Q. Well, let me see if I have it. I had it written down. I don't know a lot about his family. I just heard of maybe one of his daughters. Let's see. So this one, I know she had a name that began with Q. Sorry, bear with me. Oh, okay. It's Kubila Shabazz. Kubila Shabazz. Wow. So I don't know how that turned out, but we know she didn't succeed. So there you are, allegedly. Next slide. So in 1994, the Supreme Court upheld that parody is protected under the doctrine of fair use. And I want to end out on this particular subject, because I could talk about a whole lot more that went on. It was a lot going on. We had just so much, okay? But I'm going to just narrow things down, and I want to talk about this Diddy stuff just because it's a good, I think, a good historical reference point, especially for later, because I like that there are a lot of conversations and think pieces being done, a lot of parody also, because we no longer have the comedians anymore. So parody, let me just say, parody is, I said something about it in terms of what is it, but it allows the chorus, which if you look at us as the chorus in terms of, wait a minute, I wrote my notes. Okay. All right. Here it is. The public court, or the court of public opinion. When you think about a Greek tragedy, which I'm looking at the Diddy thing as a Greek tragedy and a comedy that is playing out on the world stage, because this is a global story. So many people from foreign press markets that are very interested in this Diddy since the beginning of his trial that he had. It also happened with the OJ case. The OJ trial was very similar, where people were glued to it and people from every background interested in it. So it's a lot to it that I've been thinking about. But in terms of parody, there's a lot going on. TikTok, the younger generation, they have a very good way of communicating parody. They do it really well. And they're very authentic with their think pieces and commentary. I call them, they are the, they wear the, what are the little caps? They're so cute. The bonnets. They're like the bonnet prophets. Okay. And I learn a lot from them. They're down to earth. They spare not. They will speak and say things, and they don't care about feelings. So what's happening right now with this Diddy stuff is the young people are realizing, wow, so this guy got away. He had a cultural immunity given to him where he was allowed to terrorize the music industry, the fashion industry, and anything entertainment. He was given cultural immunity to run roughshod for decades. So the young people on TikTok they're really like expressing how absurd this has been, that Diddy has gotten away with this for so long, and how cold-blooded of a monster he has been. And a lot of people knew about it. So when we think about parody is a way where the everyday person can talk back to people like Diddy, to moguls. We have people on the left, they like to talk back to Trump. They don't like Trump. So we want them to have an opportunity to express how they feel, as long as they're not threatening violence. I mean, I think that parody has a place, especially in politics. But we now don't have the political cartoons. We have TikTok, we have social media, and it's much faster, it's funnier, it's global. You can participate in it in the chatmospheres, and it's more devastating. So what parody is also is a weaponized mirror. What the chorus is doing right now is the chorus, we the people, the court of public opinion, they are forcing Diddy to look at himself in the mirror. So it's a powerful thing what parody is doing, because Diddy admitted that he's losing. He's losing this war of narrative. He's been able to control it. He's a media wizard, like a warlock of media. And now from jail, from prison, he's not able to make the moves that he used to make, and talk to the choir, pay the choir off, kill some of the choir allegedly, silence the choir. He hasn't been able to get to the choir. And now he's losing this war of image crafting. And that's what he's he's about, image. It's powerful. He's been able to to just hold this image somewhat. I think a lot of people were on to him and they've been trying to talk. People like Wendy Williams, of course. She's been talking about him for years and the industry. So that's the end of the slides. I wanted to there was something I just wanted to play. If you can just play that video. I'm just interested in the Diddy thing from how it is a cultural reckoning for sure. And it's making people not ever want to go back to what we've had. It can't go on like it's been going on. It just can't. But again, Diddy has admitted that let me know if you can hear me. Now I'm not playing the soundtrack, but can you hear me? Just let me know in the chat if you could hear me still. Five times. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. All right. So I wanted to show you how. Oh, you can keep it playing. I think it'll loop if you wanted to just keep playing it. Because I just wanted to talk over it. Okay, so this is an example of some of the parody that we're seeing on TikTok where the young people are just flat out saying that Diddy unalived Biggie. They're just saying it. They're not doing allegedlys at all. And this is really devastating for Diddy. And you see this man here, it's coming out of everywhere. He's saying Diddy at the MTV Awards dancing like no tomorrow after having snubbed Biggie. So this is what we have. This reckoning is a cultural tsunami that we are witnessing. And it's going to be something studied for many, many years. We will study what is happening right now. So we have 50 Cent, otherwise known as Curtis Jackson, who has had a vendetta against Diddy and a few other people. He's probably like a superhero. I think somebody referred to him as a war angel. If you can think of a war angel. I know somebody said they're war fatigued right now. Molly, hey Molly, welcome. So I know a lot of us are war fatigued, but a lot of the people that move among us are war angels. Yeah. And the war angels, they never get tired of the war. Thank you to the Most High Yah. They do not grow fatigued. They continue to fight. And the war has actually been won. We have the victory. So just know that. And watching a figure like Diddy, who is a titan, a mogul, being brought down, he's been outmaneuvered. And that's what happens, when a person has a big ego, they end up doing themselves in. So that's what's happening. And this woman here in the red suit, she is working with 50 to bring about these devastating documentaries. From what I hear, they are going to have another one and maybe another one. So we're going to brace ourselves for more documentaries. A lot of people, if they were betting, they would say Jay-Z is next. So brace yourselves, everyone. I want to thank you for watching. and I'll be uploading something maybe later on tonight or tomorrow. I'll keep you posted, okay? John is saying, "What is that creepy doll on the shelf wearing?" Okay, John. Oh no. The creepy doll, John is calling the creepy doll. This is Ella Fitzgerald. I changed her outfit. That means now that you've said that, John, this is Ella Fitzgerald, okay? Is she creeping you out? I made her a caftan, not a muumuu, but I have one to match, okay? I used to do this when I was little. I used to make clothing for my dolls and my cats, okay? She's better close up. I know it looks kind of creepy in the back, but she is a songbird, right? She can move her fingers, I mean her hands, and so I'm going to, now that John doesn't like her muumuu, I'm going to make her a new outfit, John, okay? I'm going to make a nice glamorous outfit for Ella Fitzgerald, okay? I'll keep you posted, John. But that is one outfit that I made. Okay? All right, everybody. It's good night. Ella, tell John goodbye. Goodbye, John. And don't ever call me creepy again. All right. Okay, everybody, don't call the authorities on me. I'm fine. I'm okay. All right. Okay. I'll see you soon. Next, we're going to 1995. We're midway through the 90s, people already. Whoa. Okay, so it'll be episode 31, 1995, coming up next. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Come on, let's dance, Ella. Do, 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 do. She's going to have a rap song against John. She's going to ether you, John. Yeah, get a rap song going, Ella. All right, take care. Bye, everybody.